guys, welcome to my channel. I am doing the last week of the pantry challenge. I did do a little bit of spending this week. I will include that. I didn't include a lot of the meals because it was a lot of repeat. I did a lot of new meals, and that's what I included in like my big baking days. So I hope you guys enjoy my videos, and if you do, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss more videos. Let's get going. Starting off the week, the first thing I did was I made a large crock pot full of yogurt. Now I took the extra milk that I got last week and the last of the yogurt that I did not use, and I made it. Then after the incubation period, I will have the video below of how in detail. Is actually one of the first videos that I did. And it made 4.5 quarts of very thick yogurt. And so then I will use this in the 2-ingredient dough that I showed you guys last week from Living on a Dime and make up various pizzas this week. Now the second thing that I made this day was I took some of these giant cans of crushed tomatoes and I am making them into some pizza sauce that I will can into pint-sized jars so I can use them for the pizzas throughout the year. And since I found this 2-ingredient pizza crust, it makes making pizza so easy. So what I do is I found with these big cans, it's hard to, once you open it, then you seem to have a lot left over and you have to use it all at once. So this way, it allows me to can it into smaller things and use it just as I need it. So all I did here was I took the packets and I put them into the 3 cans of the large cans. Then as soon as it's done like it is here, I'm going to can it like it says in the instructions. Alright, the next thing I attempted to make and actually succeeded was I made some blueberry bagels. I took out some blueberries out of the freezer and let them thaw, and then I'm cooking them like I did with the raisins on the pot. And the amount of blueberries that I took out, I was actually able to make a double batch of blueberry bagels and a batch of blueberry muffins to stick in the freezer. This time, instead of doing it all by hand, I decided to do it in my KitchenAid mixer. I never did it in the KitchenAid mixer before, so it was interesting and it took a little learning curve, but once I got a hang of it, it was actually pretty okay. Now, I just stuck all the ingredients in like I did with the cinnamon, and I found that this dough, as opposed to the cinnamon raisin, was a little bit wetter, so I had to add some flour closer to the end, and then I let it rise. Then I mixed up some blueberry muffins after I got all the blueberry bagels rising, and then I got those cooked, and it actually made about 4 dozen of blueberry muffins that I was able to stick in the freezer after the kids ate what they wanted to. And it just allowed me to fill my freezer up a little bit since I was quite depleted from before. Okay, I am also going to be making a double batch of my cinnamon raisin bagels since last week all the bagels were gone before the end of the day was out. So I'm going to make a double batch and hopefully be able to freeze some. Now my blueberry bagels, they're about ready to get used, but I'm going to get this mix in first. Alright, I got my cinnamon raisin dough going. Okay, my first batch of blueberry bagels are done. As you can see, I've already snacked into one. And they are actually really, really good. And I got my cinnamon raisin bagels, they're rising after I smushed them down. Waiting to get boiled. I'm going to make myself a Western omelet. So I put some butter, melted it, got some green pepper and onion and a little bit of the budding, ham, lunch meat, chopped it up, and I'm just kind of frying it up. I got 2 eggs here, and I'm just going to lightly scramble them. Alright, now moving fast, I got my eggs scrambled. So pour them in. I probably did more, but oh well. I only feel like 2. I'm going to let it lightly cook. Almost got more filling than I do egg. And then I'm going to sprinkle some of my cheese. And I'm going to see if I can get it folded. I haven't done an omelet in so long. I'll have to push down. Definitely add more butter to the pan. So it's going to be a Western scramble, which will be okay. It still looks really good. Alright, there we go. Alright, I am making pizza for lunch for me and George. So I just made up our crust, just like the instruction says, and then I'm just going to spread it out into my pan and get it pre-baked a little bit and everything else made. Okay, it's partially cooked. Now, I guess that I opened, last time I made pizza, that's why I decided pizza, because I'm trying to get it out of my fridge. That's usually what we come up with for lunch. We look at what we got in the fridge, what we can use up. Oh, let's just make it really saucy. Let's just use this whole thing. Alright, I added my frozen cheese to the top of it. It was quite chunky. I just left it and then it melted as it baked. And then I added my cheddar and then I baked it, which I don't have any anymore. Okay, my husband made spaghetti last night, so I have some leftover spaghetti sauce. So I am going to make some lasagna. So I just got some oven-ready lasagna here. And I'm just going to dump some of my, I've lost track of what it's called, spaghetti sauce on top. And because the sauce was not very saucy, I opened up a small jar of store-bought spaghetti sauce from the basement and spread it on top. Sprinkle some of our Parmesan cheese. And then I got some cottage cheese in here that needs to get used. Sprinkle that on top. Like so. And I got out my frozen cheese. And I'm going to sprinkle some of that on top. Like so. And then I'm going to repeat the layers. Alright, there's the finished lasagna. And I got out a frozen French bread out of the freezer that's starting to see better days. So I just chopped her up and I'm going to put butter and some garlic powder in between and I'm going to cook that when I get ready to cook. I still have a couple hours before lunchtime, but I just wanted to get everything ready now. Alright, I stuck it in the oven and cooked my lasagna. And there's the French bread. There's the French bread. Or garlic bread. So here's food. Okay, guys. I'm going to be attempting to make a meal that a Southern frugal mom made on her $3 meal. I'll link that video below. And she uses ramen noodles. And I have soy sauce, so I'm going to use my soy sauce instead of ramen noodles. And I've never made chicken fried rice before, so this is a variation of that. So we're going to see how it goes. So first I'm going to start by frying my frozen vegetables. I also have my ramen noodles soaking in warm water. I got my flavor packets here. I just had 2 chicken ramen noodles. And we did have our Faith made eggs this morning for breakfast. So we have some leftover eggs, so I'm going to use that instead of frying egg into a pan. So we'll see how it turns out. My veggies are done. So I'm going to add my drained noodles and my 2 seasoning packets. I may have to add more soy sauce. We'll see how this works out. After trying it a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit more soy sauce. Okay, now I'm going to add my egg. Alright, I'm just going to let it warm up just a smidgen and then we'll call it good. Okay, it is all done. And I've been sampling it. It actually tastes pretty good. I don't know that this is how fried rice is supposed to taste, or noodle, whatever you want to call it. But it tastes pretty darn good to me. Alright, my daughter opened a giant can of peaches and made up 5 of these. We've already eaten 2 peach crisps. So I'm going to stick these in the freezer. When I was cleaning out the basement, I found this cheesecake mix that Katie decided she was going to make up. I also found this pumpkin oatmeal mix that Faith wanted to make up into some cookies. And I did buy a package of Peeps because I wanted to try this recipe. So I took 2 tablespoons of butter and the Peeps and I melted them in the microwave. And then on top of that, I just kind of poured Rice Krispies on top. I had to guess because I wasn't quite sure because it wasn't like my usual recipe. And then after mixing them up, I realized I didn't have enough Rice Krispies, so I added a little bit more, which turned out much better. And then I pressed them into a grease pan, and then the kids enjoyed them for an afternoon snack. And then I also found, while I was cleaning out, some of this chicken Alfredo that I made up at the beginning of the challenge. And so I stuck it in the crock pot and decided to cook that up. I had the kids add noodles later that evening before they ate it. And that was a good meal on a nice cold day. For lunch, Jasmine is requesting some creamy eggs on toast. So we are going to be making that. And a saucepan, I have 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to double this recipe. Actually, 4 tablespoons, sorry. And then once it's melted, I will add 2 cups of milk and then 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Alright, I'm just going to add my milk and cornstarch mixture, and I did add some salt and pepper to it. I may have to add a little bit more, but I won't season it until it's ready to go on. So all you want to do is simmer. Let it get warm and simmery until it starts to thicken. And Jasmine hard-boiled the eggs, so I'm going to try and peel them. It'll be interesting because they are very fresh. Okay, I only peeled about 6 eggs, but that'll be enough for breakfast or lunch. Then I saved the rest, and so we can make some hard-boiled egg sandwiches. And as you can see, it is quite thick. Yeah, it's starting to thicken. I'm going to mix her up here and pull her off and then add the eggs in. Since the sauce is thickened, all you do is add your sliced egg on top of it. This is really good for Easter after you have all those hard-boiled eggs. A good recipe to make. Now, I didn't make any sandwiches because we ended up making another double batch. There we go. There's the end result. Okay, guys, that's it for this challenge. I will see you again next week where I'm going to be making Easter. And I'm thinking I'm gonna see what I can make with least amount of ingredients and use what I have in my pantry. We'll see. I have to figure out the logistics. So I will see you guys next time. You guys have a good week and God bless.